Today's oil short setup might be the cleanest of the lot. I've got 5 assets for you guys. I've got multiple trades that you will be able to execute within the next 24 hours. This is the daily entry. Let's go. Now guys, let's just jump straight into this. The latest news is you've seen that drop in the markets yesterday. There was a lot of pain out there, and then we had a mini taco from Trump, and basically he's talking about Iran trying to make a deal again, and the market responded relatively well. No coincidence, oil was at major resistance, and we had things like the Dow, Bitcoin, NASDAQ all sitting on major support. So now what do we do leading into the US Open today? Where are the hot zones? Where am I looking for actionable trades today? Let's jump into our first setup here and take a look. The NASDAQ is looking pretty decent here. We've had a pretty hard bounce on that good news, and now you can see I'm watching the 45-minute chart and I'm asking myself, where are the best zones that I can execute today? So right now you can see my oscillator is looking a little bit tired here at the moment on the 45 minutes. It tells us we are having a breather. Now, subject to any crazy war drama or any more news out there, I would say we can look tentatively for a bullish bounce today during the US session. So the first zone that I'm watching for executionable longs, guys, 29,190 into 29,100 at the moment on the NAS. This is the US 100 capital.com chart. Remember, tie in your candles on the exchange that you are trading on for precise numbers, but you can see these zones in general are where we are looking for action points. Okay, so we got 29,190 into 29,100. That looks like my degen zone. Obviously, in a perfect world, we want to see our oscillator resetting before we get too engaged in some of these setups. Now, one of the best looking shorts for me at the moment is if we get an early pump now into the US Open, say in the next hour and a half, you might find that they sweep this VWAP. Look how this VWAP has acted as resistance for us. You see this blue line here. We might get a sweep into that zone. That could be our first short, and it would look really good with that oscillator, especially if it happens in the next couple of hours. So first short zone here, 29,570, looking good for me on the NAS. Then the obvious areas that make a lot of sense. We've got wick highs over here. We've got our 618, and that is 29,774. And I just want to point out to you guys, we do have a bearish order block sitting in this region as well. So you can see why I'm leaning towards this upper band here for this trade. Now we are looking for simply 1-to-1 or 2-to-1 trades. These aren't trades that you want to get married to for big swing moves. We're trying to get in and out. We're trading quite big size on these assets, and we want to really just bang it out 1-to-1, 2-to-1, make some profit and move on, and we look at new setups tomorrow. Okay, let's look at our next potential plan here. If this NAS does pump higher, you've got a big zone here at that 30,070 region. Also a major bearish order block. Beautiful wicks over there as well for us. So I'm looking to short that guy. Now let's talk about the Dow. That was an absolute banger. Those of you that watched me take that one live yesterday on the Chart Hackers YouTube, you can see we caught that one in our bullish order block. Look at this, how we married the wicks that you see over here into that bullish order block. We had the beautiful reversals on that oscillator as well, and that gave us confidence to take that long on UBIT. Now I've just got one left. I have closed two of those longs that we took on the show. I've left one running just in case this one is going to run a little bit higher. But now, where are the next action zones for me today on the Dow? So you can see we are bleeding out at the moment. Oscillator is looking a little bit sad, so there's no trade at the moment, but I would say in the next couple of hours we should get another attempt at this order block. The reason being, I think they're going to want to come and take out these wicks that you see to your left here on the screen. This is also the 45-minute chart, and it's looking like 5270 into about 52k on this Dow chart. This is also the capital.com 45-minute chart, so make sure you are tying it in to your exchanges. They do vary slightly. You can see, for example, this wick low on the Dow on UBIT is 52,125, and you can see on this chart this low is 52,075, so there is a slight differential there. Okay, so longs in that zone, that makes a ton of sense to me. If they do melted down a little bit harder today, I've got a little bit of a banger, not like a high conviction in terms of this big area, so I would say exercise caution in that zone. But the first one is 51,733 to the downside. Now, if we do push higher, guys, I've got the short for you. It's 52,551. It's a very simple setup here. It's a slightly macro 382. I've got that bearish VWAP. Look how that's acting as resistance over here for us. So that should come into play, and we should also sweep that wick. So if they do pump the Dow higher up, I think we've got a nice 2-to-1 trade here. Little short plan for you guys on that guy. Now, let's talk about gold. This thing has been following the plan relatively well that I gave the guys on the Hackers YouTube the other day, and really gold is just simply following this downtrend, and now you can see it has bounced off this lower band. Now, what does that mean for us today? Well, we can look at it with a slight bullish bias, considering there is a little bit of a tucko on the war situation at the moment. So if things go according to plan, there are 2 zones of interest for me here at gold at the moment. Number one is 4,069 into 4,057. That makes sense to me to the downside. So if we get a drop, you're literally looking for bullish continuation, something simple like that, bang, and then you're looking for a nice move, maybe a 2-to-1 there on gold. And then there's a beautiful short zone up here. Look at this guy. 4,164 is your 786. It ties in with this wick zone as well. Beautiful zone there for me. So potential gold shorts, 4,164 into 4,175, looking pretty good for me on that guy. Now, obviously, oil, this is the one causing all the pain at the moment. Remember, oil's super bullish like that. It's not great for other markets. And you saw the NAS and the Dow, Bitcoin, some crypto tokens also starting to fall over a little bit. And what does this mean for us now? So I'm watching oil on the 1 hour time frame. You can see oil, in terms of oil bulls, you've got a little bit of a problem here. This is your 200-day moving average acting as resistance, and it's a major marker here for oil, and it was no coincidence. Oil rejected off that 200, and we saw some of these other assets on support, and as it rejected, the other assets bounce. Now, a couple of things going on here. The 2-hour oscillator on oil actually tells us that we could be looking for a little bit higher. Okay, so you can see we're getting our little toe curler here at the moment. This is a potential bullish, a bearish divergence print forming here on oil. So if we get this little pop here, there could be a tentative short coming around on the 2-hour time frame on oil, and the first zone of interest is going to be these guys coming up and just filling this region for us. So just look out for that. That's the tentative zone there for an oil rejection. So why is this important to me? Well, number one, obviously bullish oil is causing issues in the other markets. So we can also look at oil as a situation where does oil reject, and where does that give us longs, for example, on the NAS, the Dow, maybe gold and Bitcoin, for example. So we can use this as a great marker here for us. So the first area, obviously rejections here on this chart. This is the WTI Vantage chart, 76, looking interesting to me, but the absolute banger, and this is going to come with a little bit of pain in the markets here, unfortunately. But in terms of oil bulls, if we break this 200-day and we start cooking, you're looking at short 79.5. Look at this wick fill. Look at this VWAP coming in here from the highs. There's a macro 382 over here. So I would say that's my banger of the day, 79.5 on oil. It's going to come with destruction in other markets. So just be careful if that does play out. And then where can we scalp some longs during the course of the day? Well, right now I don't see any setups other than slightly lower down. And number one for me is 71.8. That box looks good. And then 69.3. That is looking good to me. Now, obviously, a weak oil should pump these other markets. So you will see these other these other assets pushing up into those short zones that I've given you there on the NAS, for example. And then you can look to short those when oil is bouncing on those particular levels. Okay, here's Bitcoin as well. Nice setup here today that I'm tracking. I really think Bitcoin has the possibility of pushing into the 500 region, and this could give us some kind of short opportunity. The reason I'm confident in some kind of push on Bitcoin is right now this 2-hour oscillator still looks like it could push a little bit higher. So if we do get some kind of higher low during the course of the day and the market starts grinding up, I would say that is going to be your banger. 65 into 65.5 on BTC. That is the big one for me. Now, if things start rolling rolling over. Remember, I do live trading every single day on the Chart Hackers YouTube channel. You can catch me there in a couple of hours time. You will see me today there trading with Panda, and we'll be tackling a lot of Bitcoin and some crypto things live there with you guys. So looking forward to that. Hope you enjoyed the first daily entry. I'm going to be coming at you most days per week with these types of setups, guys. Catch you later.